everything that I need to know about what lies before me, everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
Stand up and try that. Everything that I need to know
about what lies before me, everything that I need
to know
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
Got it? Try it again. Everything that I need
to know about what lies before me, everything that I need
to know
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
Everything I need to do, everything that I need to do
about what lies before me, everything that I need
to do
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
Try that again. Everything that I need to
do about what lies before me, everything that I need
to do
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
To love everything that I need to love
about what lies before me, everything that I need
to love
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me.
to know everything that I need to know
about what lies before me, everything that I need
to know
about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me,
through the
mind of God within me, through the mind of God within me.
Well, welcome Heather on up.
Good morning. Is this on? Oh, it is. Welcome to Unity Church in Albany, where our mission is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all things through prayer and service. My name is Heather Didell, and it is my joy to be here this morning. And as some of you may have surmised, we have a guest couple visiting. Welcome back. As some of you may know, we are experimenting with revising the order of the service. And so what we have gone to is doing announcements first, and then going to the opening prayer, and then going deeper into prayer through the daily word. Okay? So we're going to start with announcements. My glasses would be helpful. Aha, there you are. Are there any prayer chaplains here today who are willing to identify themselves? Okay. There's Ginger, and Ginger will be available at the back of the church for anybody who would like some one-on-one unity prayer time. Today's flowers are from Jeannie Toth to honor past and current immigrants and refugees. And may we all hold them in our hearts, because we all too, in some form or other, were immigrants and refugees. Please mark your calendars for September 13th and September 14th. We usually have our fall retreat the first weekend in October. And Jerry Ann was just saying that she has heard from people for years how they would really like it to be earlier because that weekend is not convenient for them. Well, this year we have a more convenient weekend, and so it's coming to us earlier. And I'm going to give Jim a chance to talk a little bit about Paulette, who is going to be our speaker. But before he does that, I just want you to know that the deadline for signing up is today. The cost is $225. We have payment plans if that's needed. And at this point, we have 20 inspired people signed up. We want to need another 15 of you to attend. And if we can't find 15 of you to come join us and make this a rocking and rolling time, we will have to put this off for another year. So please, come join us. And Jimmy, if you want to talk a little bit about Paulette? So it's a bargain, and it's also just a very special time. We were talking with Jim the other night about how it's not necessarily easy to get people to come to Albany, New York. So if you are at all inclined, come talk to Jerry Ann and one of the rest of us. And if you know of somebody who's not here today who might be, please reach out to them quickly, because it would be great to have as lively and large a group as possible. It's going to be a very special event. Last night, there was a Singing Bowls event here, and a big thank you goes out to all of the volunteer angels who stepped in and stepped up and participated in that. So how many of you realize that today is September 1st? September 1st, yes. How many of us weren't sure about that? So this Wednesday is September 4th, and that is the day that Reverend Crystal is going to start a class on self-awareness. If you haven't yet received a partial syllabus by email, please check the sign-in sheet located out there in the hall to make sure that we have your correct email address. And if you haven't yet gotten that syllabus to prepare you for the first class, please pick up one next to the sign-in sheet. It promises to be a really interesting program. 4 days later, on September 8th, we are reverting to 2 Sunday services, one at 9 and one at 11. Also, our 6 p.m. one-song service returns as a special healing service. Yay. To Roger and all our special 6 p.m. people, we have missed you this summer. We're glad that you've had a summer break, but we have missed you. We're glad you're coming back. Do you have a service, a business that you would like to tell your fellow congregants about? If you do, then you're going to want to sign up for our annual Small Business Fair on September 8th. That would be 1 week from today. Contact Chris Johnson for more information. September 8th is also the first Sunday of many in which we will have what we're calling a comfort room, located downstairs in the fellowship hall, to house any mothers and their infants who may need to comfort one another at some point during the service. Speaking of service, do you feel that urge inside to be of service in some way in this church? Are you perhaps not yet aware of that yearning? We want you, whether you are aware of that yearning within or not. Find out more about the volunteer opportunities at our September 15th volunteer fair. Some of the areas in which there are really interesting opportunities for service is in the audio video, and you contact Terry Bailey, who's a genius back there and a very wonderful patient teacher. If you're interested in garden or summer upkeep or the front and back lawns, contact my wonderful husband, Sam House. If you're interested in hospitality, contact Gretchen Nortz, who's doing a beautiful job with that. Social activities continues to be the party meister, Fred Elfenbein. Youth and family ministry, Trudy Ellis would love to hear from you if you would like to join her in working with kids. And Peggy Kaufman is in charge of community outreach volunteer opportunities, and she's right there. So there are plenty of opportunities, and we will be talking more about becoming aware of that deep yearning to participate in a way that maybe you don't yet participate in the community. It's really fun. And Karina, I think you wanted to do a quick announcement from the board. Can you come up here? We have a mic waiting for you.
So, most of you, if not all, we have received a yellow. Hello. Okay, there we go. So most of you will have received a yellow insert for the bulletin. That is because we are doing a board appeal to the whole community. We have been experiencing the appearance of lack in the funds that the ministry is receiving. And we've been falling short quite a bit, which doesn't allow us to pay the bills, the monthly bills for maintaining our community. So we are, first of all, reminding or asking people to hold the consciousness of abundance on behalf of the congregation. And to that end, there is an abundance prayer that we have been praying starting last year. But we had, I don't know if you remember, we had the 40 days of prosperity. And this is the prayer that we had at that time. So we're bringing back that prayer, and we ask that please, when you go home, please hold this prayer among your regular praying routine. And also, if you find it in your heart that you could offer a little bit more tithes, but this is an individual thing. You have to see what you can do on behalf of the community. But if you value this community, we ask us to, if according to your need, to your means, if you can help us so that we bridge this impasse at the moment. So thank you so much, and back to Heather.
So some of you may have heard Reverend Crystal last week talk about the same issue of giving, and to do it from the heart, from a place of joy and appreciation, and knowing that we are fed by these principles of truth and this marvelous community in a way that makes our lives different. Never from a place of fear or scarcity. We really have all that we need, and that's all I guess I need to say about that, other than yay for Unity Church in Albany, which has provided an incredible home for so many of us and a place to grow in ways spiritually that we never knew were possible. So thank you, Karina, for the reminder about the prosperity. Now, one other quick little thing. You may have noticed that bulletins are not being handed out by the greeters. This is part of our Go Green Unity Church in Albany. You will find that there are laminated sheets. There'll be more coming up next week or so that have all the basics of the service. But for those of you who still love the idea of these bulletins with beautiful pictures, there are some in behind. And more information about our events can be found both in the bulletin, the schedule above the water fountain out there, our Facebook page, our Twitter profile, our YouTube channel, hello YouTubers, and on our website, unityalbany.org. So we are doing our best to come into the 21st century and to go greener at the same time. Okay, now if we can settle in for opening prayer. Today's opening prayer came to me rather indirectly. I had an experience in my car last week, which is often where I have these unusual sacred experiences, of hearing a song that I'd heard many times before in a totally different way. Has that ever happened to anybody? Where all of a sudden you hear the incredible beauty or sacredness of a song that you've listened to and not thought about. And this song was called Nearer to Thee, O Lord, sung by the Brigham Young chorus, which is not a chorus I usually listen to, but I know the song. I was so moved by it. And as I was reflecting on this morning's prayer and feeling into what prayer wants to be expressed today through me, Nearer to Thee, O Lord, kept coming up until I read something about a different metaphor for the God within and getting closer to God. I'm reading a book called Climbing the Rope to God. It's by two teachers Sam and I have worked with, Brad and Hillary Keeney, and it's a book about their mystical testimony and teachings. And in a vision, Brad saw a green valley, a huge green valley full of luminous ostrich eggs. So I want you to think of ostrich eggs are large eggs. If you haven't seen them at Honest Weight, they don't sell them there. They are very, very large, and these are radiant, glowing eggs, and the whole valley was filled. And he writes, and before I tell you what he writes, I'm going to read you what he wrote, and then a brief prayer springs out of that. So please listen to this in a prayerful place. There were more eggs than I could see or count. I was shown that every human being is given a divine egg. You must spiritually warm the egg before you can hatch its gift and bring its special emotion to life. In the vision I heard, devotion awakens the emotion that carries you to the divine ocean of love. Whether the egg cracks open is between you and God. However, be assured that there is a divine egg nearby, perhaps inside. It is glowing, radiating, and throwing out sunbeams, moonbeams, ecstatic rays, and luminous ropes to bring you closer to divinity. Step toward this mystery. You and this light have been waiting for one another. Mother, Father, God, sweet Spirit, great mystery, we breathe in these words and let them settle into our hearts. We can feel a steady beating of our hearts. And in this moment, we sense your divine presence, that glowing orb of life and love that always burns within us, our hearts and every cell of our being. And in this moment, we focus deeply on and nurture the glow of that light within. May we keep releasing everyday busyness and distractions and keep bringing our focus back to this glowing, radiant orb of light within our hearts and every cell as it quietly but steadily sends out sunbeams, moonbeams, ecstatic rays, and luminous ropes, all to bring us nearer to Thee, sweet Spirit, great mystery. And so it is. Amen. And now in the continuing spirit of those luminous ostrich eggs, we have the daily word. So let us take this in as a way to go more deeply into the sacredness of our sanctuary. Today's daily word is abundant living, and we can say together, I live joyously and abundantly. Living abundantly means living in gratitude without fear or limitation. It is living with an awareness of my divine nature as an expression of light, life, love, and peace. In a spirit of gratitude, I notice the blessings that flow into my life every day. I give thanks for each one, large or small, knowing I have all I need. With God as my source, I have unlimited resources that I can summon from within at any time. I see beyond any negative appearance to the truth of my being. I am whole, complete, and able. My relationships are harmonious. My life is in order. I have enough to use and to share. For these truths, I breathe a prayer of thanks. Abundance is all around me. And from Luke 6:45, the good person out of the good treasure of the heart produces good. Today's daily word is abundant living, and the daily affirmation is, I live joyously and abundantly. And so it is. Amen. And now for our wonderful musicians.
Stand.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul.
Everything I've ever
done,
everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment here, to a new beginning here, and I see life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get You'll need a mic.
I have a mic. Hi. Good to be back. Thank you very much. You got to realize, from your perspective, you're happy to see me. From my perspective, I am delighted to get all of you. I think I'm getting the much better deal here. I get a whole room full of people I love. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been a little while. Well, this is actually the point at which I'm supposed to stand up here and say, to acknowledge a special welcome to anybody that's here for the first time. And those are the people that are going, what is going on? If you're among those people who are going, what is going on, if you would raise your hand, the ushers will bring you a little welcome packet, which won't explain that, but just let us know if you'd like a yes, no? All right, I don't see any hands going up. We've done good. We've done good. Yeah, and I am delighted to see everybody here. I'm delighted to see everybody still here and supporting this community. You guys are the community. Those of us that serve here, it's your community. So I am so delighted to see everybody here and so many wonderful faces. And y'all look great. Y'all look great. All of y'all. That's the plural if you're from the South. I'm supposed to remind you also that there's a prayer box out in the lobby if you'd like to drop prayers in if you have any prayer concerns, and I guess you guys all know that, so we'll do that. And we will hold them in prayer here and then send them off to Silent Unity to be held in prayer. So at this point, I'm supposed to invite you to stand if you'd like. Greet your neighbors with a smile, a handshake, or a hug if they're up for it. Ding. 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 Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. So, let's take a moment and join together and in our statement of oneness. Together we say, the power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good omnipotence. So it is. So we got a little music here. More.
to love, to serve and remember.
And so we take a nice breath, deep breath, breathe it out. Let the body settle into the seat. Let the feet rest on the floor. Let the eyes softly close. You can tell if the eyes are softly closed because your face will feel soft, relaxed. We let the hands relax in the lap. Just feel that breath as it begins to find a natural rhythm flowing in and through these bodies. Quieting the mind as well as the body. Allowing us to be present right here, right in the place where we are, just as we are in this moment. And as we continue to feel that breath, we remember that in many of the ancient languages, the word for breath and spirit are the same. So we feel that spirit and that life that is present within us. And just as we trust ourselves into the seat that supports us, we trust ourselves into that spirit, into that life, into that presence that infills each one of us, that blesses us in just the right way as we quietly move into the silence for a few moments together. One presence, one power, one intelligence, one life, present in each of us individually, in its own unique way, present in all of us collectively, as that one presence. May we open our hearts and minds daily to welcome that presence. Allow it to guide us. Allow it to show us the way. Allow it to bless us. And may we extend that blessing and share that blessing with all those around us. So I'll invite you right now just to notice if there might be any names or people or prayers arising in your heart or your mind. And if so, just to share those either silently or softly, however feels best to you. prayers to continue. We give thanks for the activity of God working in and through all of us, uniting us and moving us all forward together. And for answered prayer, let us say together in advance, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. So it is. Amen.
Why have
You come to earth. Do you remember why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember,
to love,
love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember,
to
love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember,
to
love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember.
Wow. Two great things that happen when I come back here. I get to see all you guys and I get to hear the music. You know? Haven't found that anywhere else yet. We've looked. Well, so this is my report back. It's been almost exactly 4 years since we've been here, since the last time I was here. Yeah. Almost 2 years since our last visit when the rental car decided that I was not coming to the Sunday morning service to visit you. We, just in your behalf, we bought a new car so it would be reliable and get us here. And in the meantime, Kay and I have been doing the same thing you guys have been doing. Continuing down the path of life, meeting people, learning things, trying to figure out how to integrate all this stuff we're learning into our actual lives. And, that's been interesting. I want to thank everybody here, first off, in retrospect, for all the love and the support and the encouragement you gave Kay and I during the time we were here. Anyway, thank you. I'm not going to try to go beyond that. I also have a complaint, though. Okay, I also have a complaint. We were here basically 13 years, and it has been extraordinarily difficult finding another church that satisfies us after hanging out here with you guys. And I'm deadly serious. When we moved out to the West Coast, we visited a couple nice churches out there, and they were nice, and they had some good things. I mean, I recommend them to people, but the feeling wasn't quite there. The whole package was definitely not there. And I actually looked at taking a couple churches out there that were looking for ministers, and I kind of visited, and it's like, nah. So that's my complaint to you guys. You spoiled us, and we appreciate it deeply. It's been lovely, and I hope you continue spoiling each other. As many of you know, Kay and I only stayed out in San Diego a little less than a year. and then decided to move back to Charlotte, North Carolina, where we had met each other and where we left 3 sons and where we now have 4 grandkids. The littlest one turns 1 next couple of weeks. Yeah, so that's lovely. And we went back to visit the old Unity Church there, and guess what? It wasn't quite this. That was an interesting thing. It's been through a number of ministers, and so that may be part of it. And then because when we got back there, they already had 2 ministers on staff, both of whom I knew friends. We decided to try to start another Unity community there, so I would have something to do because I was bored. And we've been doing that for about 3 years, and it was in part trying. I realized, looking on it in retrospect, it was in part trying to recreate what was happening here. And have you noticed that the universe does not move backwards? The universe does not move, no matter how wonderful it was. The universe does not move backwards. It doesn't need a redo. So we're actually looking at partnering with the other Unity Church there, which has since hired a new minister who's turned into a friend, and that's been great. The one thing that did take off for us during our time there were our Course in Miracles study groups. We have 2 really strong Course in Miracles study groups with some really dedicated people, and we're moving deeply, and that has been helpful, and they have helped me move more deeply. I've actually been really exploring that path. That's turning into a gateway for me even more. So that's kind of part of our progress report, what's going on. It's interesting, Unity, religious science, and other New Thought religions often are presented as ways of getting the universe to work for us, right? How to get the universe to work for us. A couple weeks ago, I was having lunch with my friend Reverend Marty from the other church, who is actually, interestingly, a religious science minister serving a Unity Church. He jokes about being a religious science minister in Unity drag. Yeah, he's got the humor too. Great guy. I've been kind of helping him with, how do you function within Unity, because he had very little background in that. And he's been helping support me, and we're just having fun. And he made an observation that was very similar to an observation another friend of mine had made within the week before. A guy who's not religious at all, tall Dutch guy named Martin, who kind of experiences the divine in nature but has no use for religion. But Martin's comment at lunch was, I really get the feeling that the universe is living us. And that what I need to do, as Martin said, is let the universe live me. And interestingly, Marty says the same darn thing, right? It's like, okay, got it, got it, heard that. Which ties in perfectly, and maybe you guys have sensed that the universe, you're trying to steer the bus, but it's already being driven. All right. It ties in perfectly with Charles Fillmore's teachings of unity early on, because Fillmore's whole thing early on was get quiet, do your meditation, do whatever, and ask God for an inspired idea. Then go do stuff. Then get the universe to work for you. But ask for the inspired idea first. Get the inspired idea first, the God idea. Work with those ideas. Not just, Jim's agenda of wants and desires, or what I think would make me feel happy. Not that there's anything wrong with, taking something that makes you happy and trying to make it happen. But as some of you have discovered, and I was recently reminded, that only takes you so far. Your ideas only take you so far. Tapping into big ideas, as we might say, universal ideas, that's what moves us. And then, of course, the challenge is, how the heck do I tell the difference? Because all my ideas seem universal. They'd be great for everybody. Just, pay attention to my ideas and you'll all be fine. Isn't that the way the planet runs? That's kind of how it goes. I was thinking about that and I realized, well, when I'm trying to decide if it's a Jim idea, which it often is, or an inspired idea, the question is, how does it feel? How does it feel in my body and my being? Is it light? Is it energizing? Is it joyful? Is there a lightness and an energy to it? Is there a sense of maybe beauty? Yeah, that's the best word I can use. Is there a sense of beauty or grace to it? And another good test, does it connect me with others and support the whole of us? Because trust me, God ideas connect us with others and support the whole of us, as opposed to, is it kind of like about me and my needs or wants? Watch out for those. But to connect in with those, to try to connect in with those big ideas and to maybe be patient a little bit, because we're good at chattering, not always as good at listening. Now, I don't know how many of you were paying attention carefully when I was here 4 years ago. But I shared part of the Elijah and Elisha stories a couple times because they were speaking to me. Elijah the prophet and Elisha his student. And in 2 Kings 2, there's this story, and you'll remember this as I mention this, that Elijah and Elisha are working together, student and teacher, prophet and apprentice, I don't know what you call it. And they're moving forward, and they would come to different places, different cities, representing different states. And Elijah would say to his student, I'm moving forward. You can stay here if you want, but, I'm moving on. And Elisha, the student, wisely would say, as the Lord lives and moves, I will not, I'm moving forward with you. I'm not stopping. I'm moving forward. Charles Fillmore said that Elijah and Elisha represented states of consciousness. Elijah, the elder prophet, is kind of that state where you know there's power in the mind, you are moving forward with it. Elijah was this great, powerful prophet, but he's like always in trouble. People are always after him, He's got that there's power there, but maybe he's always having to fight. And Elisha, biblically at least, represents the next level of maybe awareness of use of that, a double portion of what Elisha has. And so they journey together, and they go through Gilgal and Bethel and Jericho, and eventually they cross the Jordan River. And this is metaphor because they part the Jordan River and walk across on dry land, and this happens a couple times in the story. But that represents moving into another realm, right? I mean, that moving out of the common way of thinking, moving into what we would call a place where transformation or awareness can happen. The student, and to me that's me, Elisha is about the willingness to follow and to learn and to move forward. You can stay here if you want, Elisha. I'm going forward, says the universe. Right? So, interesting. It's funny because a couple years ago I had been thinking about that, and we go to Passover with some friends every year when we were in Charlotte. And my friend Charlie Brown, a therapist who's also a very devoted student of Judaism, I thought, God, I finally get to ask the question. If Elisha, the student, gets a double portion, he's like twice the juice of Elijah, how come at Passover we wait for the return of Elijah, the guy that's always in trouble? And Charlie really couldn't answer the question either. He said he'd wondered about it too. Partially, I think it's because of tradition. A tradition is established, and we just kind of take the tradition for granted. We also take the stories as literal. I have questions as to whether there was ever an Elijah and an Elisha, literally, or whether these are teaching parables, metaphors or myths that are designed to show us things and point toward things rather than literal stories. They're pointing toward that movement. And of course, in Miracles, it describes our journey individually and collectively as a journey without distance to a place we've never left. A journey without distance to a place we've never left. It's an inner journey. It's an inner journey, you know. It's moving, and it's about a combination of both remembering and experiencing who and what we actually are, which is why we come together, right? Which is why you hang out with all these people here who are on that same journey and consciously on that journey, to begin to not just remember who we are, but actually experience that in our daily lives. That's why spiritual community is such a powerful thing when we're willing to allow ourselves to connect with it, because it's more than just me. It's more than just me or any one of us. So is there an inner journey to be made by me? Yep. Inner journey to be made by you? Yep, each one of you. And there's good news and bad news. The good news is you're already on it. The bad news is all that stuff that's been happening to you throughout your life and continues to, that's the journey. You're already on it. You're already on it. The question, though, and this is why I love the Elijah and Elisha story, the question is, am I willing to move from where I am right now? Elijah offers, I'm moving forward. The universe says, hey, Jim, I'm moving forward. You coming, or are you going to hang out where you've been? Or try to hang out where you've been, right? Because just by coincidence, each one of us is part of the universe. It's like you're not separate from God. You're not separate from the universe. It's living through you, as my friends reminded me. So when you try to stay put, or go backwards, you find yourself like at odds, in conflict with the whole flippin' universe. Think about that. I mean, my gosh, it's all working against me. No, it's just going that way. And you're trying to stand, So, and you see, that's one of the gifts of of being sort of partly retired, having a little more time, is you get to notice that even more. Even more, And that is one of the interesting secondary gifts that has come along in the last 4 years for me. I'm essentially semi-retired. I'm still doing some work and still got some things going, but I have a lot more free time. I often define it as too much free time, okay? Because when I was busy raising a family, when I was busy doing a job, when I was busy being a full-time minister and doing all the fun stuff we did here, I didn't have as much time to notice what was going on inside here, right? All those thoughts, all those judgments, all those expectations, all that, all that stuff. So, I got some free time. Everybody hopes for free time. Some of you are already retired, so you already probably realize this. I got to learn this in the last few years, right? You have all this free time, and it's like, oh, this is great. Oh, gosh. Nothing to distract me. Nothing to distract me, unless I create distractions from all this that's going on. What I call the unenlightened thoughts inside my head. I assume a few of you probably have familiarity with the unenlightened thoughts. Not happy, not loving, no rainbows and unicorns. A lot of junk. It's been interesting, to notice that, and then to try to find ways to work with it and people to support me in doing that, which is why I'm still working to either create community in our study groups or integrate into the larger community that's there around me, where my friend Reverend Marty is trying to kind of pump some life back into what had been a pretty lifeless church in Charlotte. Church people I love, but pretty lifeless church. And he's doing his job, and I think, maybe that's my next job. Help Marty pump some life in there. The Course reminds us that we can notice and direct and discipline our thoughts. It's a very unity type thought. Charles Fillmore would be perfectly comfortable with that. We can do it if we want a happy life, or we can not if we just want to, kind of deal with it. And for me, that's part of the message of the Elijah and Elisha stories, a lot of the Bible stories you read. At times, I still do find myself wanting to go back. I mean, I've been looking forward to seeing you guys again because there's a lovely energy here that I want. I want. But again, you guys are moving forward, either consciously or unconsciously, individually and collectively, and I am too. And that means that what we love gets recreated in different ways, in different places, and we have to pay attention to that. And quite honestly, for many of us, particularly some of us who are more mature, age-wise, and maybe not personally, but there's not as much time to play around. You know, it's like, what am I going to do? I need to work on this. You know, how many more years do I have to work on this? Because my human mind invites me to go back and try to recreate what I've done in the past. Go back and, you know, go to the places that where, you know, I was once happy when I did this, so I'm going to go do that some more. I was once happy when I visited this place, so I'm going to go visit there. Maybe I'm going to move there, you know, or whatever. And is that really, you know, when you have those thoughts, notice how they feel. Notice how those thoughts feel. Do they feel light and joyous and energizing? Do they feel like that's a divine inspiration, or do they feel like I'm really not enjoying things here right now very much, so I'm going to try to go there because I think it's going to be better, you know, or I'm going to try to go back because I think it's going to be better. My theory, and it's a work in progress because, as you know, I don't know, is that the universe probably has a lot bigger ideas than we do. Bigger ideas for us individually and collectively, maybe better ideas. And that our goal is to support each other in listening and following those new ideas to those new bright places rather than trying to kind of keep everything just the same. You know? So I wrote a couple little affirmations to use this week, a pair of affirmations. There we go. I love this. So it says, I choose to trust the wisdom of God over my human thoughts and desires. I choose to welcome universal mind and allow it to live through me. Let's share that together. Together we say, I choose to trust the wisdom of God over my human thoughts and desires. I choose to welcome universal mind and allow it to live through me. Let's say that again together. I choose to trust the wisdom of God over my human thoughts and desires. I choose to welcome universal mind and allow it to live through me. Close your eyes and let that thought settle in for just a second. It's a choice we have every day. Elijah said to Elisha, hey, you want to follow me or you want to just stay here? The universe is saying the same thing. So we can choose to trust that universal wisdom, that divine wisdom. It's present in each one of us. It's always with us. We can trust that over our cravings and desires and things like that bother us all the time. And we can welcome that universal mind, that greater consciousness that we all share. And as my friend Martin said, we can let it live through us. Let it live through us and move us forward in ways that bless us and bless us all together. So let's open our eyes and say that one more time. Together we say, I choose to trust the wisdom of God over my human thoughts and desires. I choose to welcome universal mind and allow it to live through me. So it is. Amen. So we're coming up to the time where we get to share an offering.
But first, we have a song.
But first we have a song. We do.
We're going to do a little song to respond to your talk first.
All right. First we can, and singing is good.
We threw in a couple extra songs after you left.
Well, you read my mind on the other songs, so all he had was a talk title, and of course he, you know. The psychic Mr. Mock is tuned into the universe.
Sometimes it's the psychotic Mr. Mock.
Works well either way.
Another Janice Stanfield song. Join us on the chorus if you would.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things.
Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
sing amazing things. All right, can we take up an amazing offering now? It's our time to share our gifts and our tithes. And, when I was here, I always said, it's your church. Congratulations. That's the good news and the bad news. It's your church, all of us. And so I invite you from that point of reference to support this church and to bless it, not just with your presence, but financially, because it takes a bunch to make all this happen, And for you guys that are out there watching on YouTube, whoever you are, there's a link on the website to donate. And the other good news, if somebody's watching, because I watched a service the other day, it sounds okay on YouTube. It sounds infinitely better here in the church. So that's good. So anybody watching, if you really want to hear the good stuff, come in here and listen, because it's beautiful. So I invite you to take whatever you brought, to hold it in your hands, just to feel a great sense of appreciation for this community and for all that you guys have been before Kay and I came, while Kay and I were here, since that time and into the future, and just feel a sense of appreciation for Unity in Albany, which is literally an amazing place. Literally, having visited, amazing. So together we say, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen. All right, ushers.
We're going to sing a song about the spiritual journey from the Sikh poet Kabir's song. There might be one too many verses up there, Terry. We've cut the fourth one out, just so you know. I didn't think about taking it out. So set horse and roll. Breathe my love, breathe my love, breathe in the quiet center. Breathe my love, breathe my love, breathe in the quiet center. Breathe my love, breathe my love, breathe in the quiet center. Do we have youth? We'll do the youth blessing. We'll do the youth blessing because there's youth out there somewhere, and they're youth.
Yes.
Come on up, Trudy.
Very much forward. Heather mentioned the comfort room. That is for our preschool, for our babies 2 and under, and there's going to be rocking chairs and toys, and it's going to be comfort. And my hope is that it's a place for young moms to bond and play. Yes, and so that's going to be for 2 and under and adult mom, dad, whomever. And then we have the preschoolers, and we have teachers for all these groups. We have preschoolers, which is 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Then we have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders. Then we have another class with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And in the near future, we're going to have for junior high and high school on a different night.
Whoa. Thank you, Trudy, for holding that vision all these years. It's working. Thank you. Wow.
And we'll hold the blessing, say the blessing for our youth, and we'll say together, holding our hands out, we love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you. Let's join hands. You probably know this one.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let